What up, New York? Sorry, I just always wanted to say that. So, how's everyone doing? My name is Thomas Giordonello. As Arlene so kindly introduced, I'm a public relations professional. I've been in the space for just under a decade, and I've been specifically in cannabis for about 3 years. I got my start in the cannabis industry at my last agency when I realized we had a Denver satellite office. And lo and behold, that office actually represented a handful of cannabis brands. And so I absolutely flung myself at the opportunity to assist and support on those accounts whenever possible, while also simultaneously outing myself from the professional cannabis user's closet. Fast forward 3 years later, cannabis is really hot and alive, as you all know, and I am working on a brand new agency with my business partner. We're going to be moving to LA to unveil HOTLINE Agency. So if anyone thinks the green rush is over, think again. These are a couple of the brands that I work with. There will be some more throughout my presentation, but just kind of wanted to show a nice plethora of full-on THC California licensed dispensary products. So what's PR? I definitely don't have enough time to explain that all to you right now, but in a nutshell, PR is storytelling. And a good publicist can tell that story in a multitude of ways through a ton of different platforms. As you all know, there are some real restrictions to traditional advertising and marketing in the cannabis industry. Right now, PR really is the only way for cannabis brands to tell their story, talk about their products, and get their vibes out into the world. So ultimately, there's a ton of different ways you can make press as a cannabis business. I've tried to categorize those into 4 groups here: packaging, product, brand story, and company vibes. I believe these are the main umbrella terms that if you operate successfully in these categories, it can lead you to some press. So ultimately, packaging, right? Is anyone familiar with Candescent? Yeah. Cool. 2 or 3 years ago, Candescent was really hot. Obviously, their packaging is upscale, it's high quality, and when it came out, it definitely helped to destigmatize, I think, the cannabis industry as a whole, right? And the brand has done a really good job of using the packaging to garner press. These are just 2 of many, many examples, but let's be real. We've seen this before and done better. It's called Hermes. So right now, what we're seeing, or what I'm experiencing in the California cannabis industry, is a shift towards more unique, more distinctly one-of-a-kind brands. This is Sonder, lesbian-owned, Mendocino Grown, sun-grown, organic, sustainable, full-spectrum. Check, 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 check. Wouldn't be a good publicist if I didn't get all of those. And as you can see, this doesn't look like anything else on the cannabis market. And this is really hot. It just hit shelves 3 weeks ago. Since then, we've used it to garner press, and successfully so. The brand does a lot of my work for me because it's just so good looking. Now, when I think of packaging, I like to work with clients that are future-focused, right? So this is a brand called Besito. They're out of LA. They're fairly new, and they're really hot, right? They've got Vogue, they've got Allure, they've got a ton more, but I don't know about you guys. I like sea turtles, and if our straws are killing sea turtles, then what is a medical-grade stainless steel and ceramic wick technology disposable vape going to do to our environment? Let's think ahead a little bit, right? Come on. So my next category that you can do well to get press is the product category, or essentially the cannabinoid to human cannabinoid delivery system. This is Podawio. John, I think, is here. Hey, John. Podawio is out of the Bay Area. It is a luxurious olive oil. And because of the delivery format of the product alone, they've garnered some really great press. I mean, there's some other things at play here, good design, really nice photos, but by putting cannabis on the dinner table next to salt and pepper, killer, right there. This is Olo, another brand out of the Bay Area, pretty futuristic. You take those little tabs there, you put it under your tongue, and you've got one of 4 desired experiences coursing through your veins for about 3 to 6 hours. And so Olo's really cool, but the thing with Olo is not only are the cannabinoids being delivered to your human endocannabinoid system in an interesting way, but this is changing what we think of consumption, right? Like, you could be standing in front of the Mona Lisa and get high. That's crazy, right? And disclaimer, one of my clients, and so we've used that to do some really fun stuff, right? Anyway, moving on. Okay, brand story. Listen, not everyone has a killer brand story. If you're getting into it for money, hide that fact. Yeah, and tell your publicist so I can hide it for you too. But ultimately, a brand story can really catapult your brand. Obviously, New York Times, holy grail, and if you do it right, you can also have one of these. So brand story is an interesting one, and this is a client of mine. Acme was born on the backlots of Hollywood by a former PA about 10 years ago. And when some celebrities started placing their own orders, the founder was like, shit, I gotta make this a real brand. So he did. Acme is one of the only brands to start on the medicinal side and transfer to the rec side. But what you'll see here is, you can't see it, obviously, but the map of Los Angeles, specifically Hollywood, is overlaid on the back of the packaging. I've used it to garner traditional PR love, but it's also sort of pushing us down a content direction. And so this is an artist collab with a studio out in Philadelphia. I told them 3 things. I said, 80s, 90s, Hollywood, go. And this is what they came up with. Might not be your aesthetic cup of tea, but it's working great because we've garnered over 1,000 followers in the last 3 weeks. Yes. So the last way, I believe, you can really garner good press for your brand is through company vibes. And so we all know there's a diversity issue in cannabis, right? Like, let's build brands that speak to that right out the gates. If Ben & Jerry's is concerned with justice and equality for all, I mean, aside from being everyone's favorite munchie, they have nothing to do with cannabis. Why are they doing this? We should be doing this, and we should be writing the rules that pave the future of this hopefully nationally legal plant soon. So through creating a diverse team, through philanthropy, through events, and office atmosphere, you can ultimately drive press too. So Lowell Herb Co, really, really big in California. They've got a nice look. They started a jobs initiative, and they put out billboards near the jails in Los Angeles County. And so they actually made their first hire, Sabrina, who was a former nursing student. She got arrested for a tiny bit of pot and lost her full ride scholarship. So I'm really happy that she works at Lowell now, and I want to buy that product because of that story. Plus, Newsweek's huge, right? Another really, really great example is Bloom Farms. They announced this partnership a year or 2 ago. It's called the 1 for 1, and for every one product that they sell, they donate a meal to someone in need. Yeah, it's cool, right? Like, this is what we should be doing. We've got the money to, why not, right? So this here is a really fabulous piece, actually written by Mona from Word on the Tree. Yeah. So these are just generally some bucket departments that you can operate in. If you do it well, can lead to good press. Press is there forever. Unlike an advertisement, you can't Google it. Once your budget has run out, it's gone. And you think that there's a lot of different ways brands can garner press, but these are the four main categories. And ultimately, no matter what you do, don't do this, right? Like, let's respect women. Let's not objectify them. Yeah, we shouldn't have to clap for that, but thank you. And if you're gonna bring Jay-Z onto your board, you should definitely figure out what his contributions, his duties, and what he's bringing to the table before you pitch the media the story, because that could blow up a little bit. So, in conclusion, the key, in my mind, to cannabis success is to make news, but to make good news.